guys, it's Michaela and you're watching FunsizedStyle. For today's video, I wanted to do a update on my update because with all the current events going on in the world right now, everybody's lives are literally changing like hour by hour. And since I posted that video 4 days ago, a lot has changed for me too. In fact, the day after I posted that video, a lot changed. I wanted to update you guys here now because a lot of this relates to my current medical issues and procedures that I was scheduled to have. My life, as well as literally everyone else's lives in the world, are being shifted right now. So are mine. I wanted to share a little bit of what's going on and kind of what to expect, what I hope to expect going forward. You know, things are so unknown right now for so many of us. I never thought I would live through a time like this in my life. I talk more in depth about how this affects me and my journey in strict self-quarantine for the next 7 weeks or 8 weeks or so. I go in depth of why I'm being in quarantine and the importance of it, but even since then, so much has changed in our world since I uploaded that video that I wanted to talk about some of those changes and share them with you today. One of the big changes for me is, as you guys know in that video, I mentioned that I was scheduled to have surgery next week, my revision mastectomy surgery. So as far as I know, as far as I was told from the last I spoke to my team, was most procedures are still going on as normal. With the coronavirus, there are currently, as I'm filming this, there are 54 cases in Michigan, and Michigan is on total, well, not total lockdown, but restaurants and bars are ordered to be closed at least a couple weeks. I know, I'm not sure if there's really an end date to that as of yet, and public gatherings are limited to like 10. There's a rumor whether it's 10 or 50. I don't really know. It's constantly changing, but Michigan is one of the states that is going on more strict lockdown, which I love to see. This is like truly amazing to see how the world is responding to this, because like I mentioned in the previous video, when I was going through H1N1 and that pandemic was spreading, by the time government did anything and by the time they declared it a pandemic, it was too late. I had already gotten it, and so many other people had gotten it, and so many people died, and I was almost one of the people that were dying. Even after I filmed that video of kind of what to expect, what my life is going to look like for the next 8 weeks or so, so much has gone on since then. Disneyland is closed. Disney World is closed. All major sports are canceled. All tournaments are canceled. All games are canceled. 2020 is literally canceled. Everything is shut down. I mentioned in that video that it was really great to see how everybody's responding, but even after I posted that video, even more extremes have been taken, and I think that we can learn from other countries around the world the importance of taking these extreme measures. It's been really amazing for me to see, because when my family and I were going through this, we felt so alone because none of these measures were taken. This pandemic was just as bad. The virus itself, coronavirus, is worse than H1N1. H1N1 affected thousands as well, and thousands died in the US and around the world. It's really beautiful to see that like this time it's not just us being in self-quarantine. It's not just us that have put our lives on hold. Literally everybody's plans are canceled. I'm not going to lie to you that it's a difficult time for all of us. We're all experiencing some level of disappointment and sadness, and it's an interesting time in our lives. What I'm hearing from most people is they never thought they'd experience or live through a time like this where the world is literally on lockdown. But it's really cool to see people step up to the plate and try to do what they can to put an end to this nightmare for all of us. This truly feels like a nightmare that we all can't wake up from. It's like every day, at least for me, but I'm on really strict quarantine, but every day feels the same because I don't leave my house. Every day just feels the same. That's what's interesting to us, to see the whole world day by day just become shut down. The world is becoming so shut down that I am not going to be having my surgery next week, and my team and I decided that it was best to cancel my revision mastectomy surgery. There's a few reasons to that. I know like in New York, where the coronavirus pandemic is really bad, they're canceling all elective surgeries, meaning if it's not putting your life at risk at that moment, then it's going to be canceled. For me in particular, the revision mastectomy surgery is considered an elective surgery, meaning I should have it, but my life is not at risk. My organs are not at risk. It's just kind of improving my quality of life issue. It's not, anything that's immediate. Yes, I'm experiencing some pain, but it's nothing compared to any pain I've experienced before. I've experienced much worse pain. And because it's an elective surgery, and I also included in that video, literally an hour after I filmed that video, there were cases being reported in Michigan of the coronavirus. At least one of the patients that have a confirmed case of the coronavirus are in isolation at that hospital where I will be having the surgery. Because it's on the premises, I just can't risk it. My team doesn't want me to risk it. They don't even want me on the premises right now because when the H1N1, the 2009 H1N1 pandemic occurred, my risk was low of getting H1N1. That's what everybody had told us. My risk was low. And the H1N1 virus got me, and it wreaked havoc on my body, and I was in the fight for my life and almost died. That being said, my team realized that my body can't go off statistic. These things are a real threat to my health and to my body. And because it's on the premises, they don't want me there. Because, again, even though my risk is low, because of my past history with H1N1 and I was on life support and almost died, we just can't risk it. My team had said if it weren't for your history of H1N1, we feel that it would be safe. The surgery itself would be safe. The coronavirus has nothing to do with the surgery, but just being in the presence where there is coronavirus somewhere in the air possibly. Because a lot of people don't realize they're spreading a message of washing your hands, which is great. We should all be washing our hands to begin with, and not just when the coronavirus is happening. But the coronavirus is airborne. I could be within feet of whoever came into the hospital with symptoms of corona. That being said, they just don't feel like it's safe for me to even be on the premises. I had a pre-op appointment and another just regular appointment off the premises at another one of their health clinics, but they don't even want me there because there's so many cases of it in the Detroit area. Detroit, Ann Arbor, like Washtenaw, Wayne County area, they don't feel that it's safe for me to be there. Now, granted, yes, my risks are low, but given my past history and my near-death experience, we can't go off of that, and it's just not worth risking because it's an elective surgery. It's not something that I need at this moment. I just want to say, like, I am really sad about it, and I feel bad being sad about it because I have been in those deep waters of a pandemic. I know what it's like to be laying in a hospital bed on life support, unable to communicate. So I feel selfish for being sad about it. I know I'm human and experience emotion, but I genuinely just feel bad about being sad about it. I was really looking forward to having the surgery behind me. Sometimes I don't understand God's timing. His plans are always better than my own, and that's what's really keeping me going through this. And it is an, quote, elective surgery, but it would dramatically improve my quality of life and some pain that I'm experiencing, but it's nothing compared to what other people are going through right now. And so that's what I just keep having to remind myself of. The thing that's tricky with this, though, is the reason that I timed the surgery the way that I did is because I'm scheduled to go into Halo traction on June 15th. And so I wanted to have this revision surgery before that. I have to be healed up for almost 3 months before I can put the halo on, because where they have to operate is where, like, one of the pins will go near for the halo. The reason that it's complicated is because at this point they said maybe June we could reschedule. Like, that's how long they think that this pandemic will last. Like, they said maybe, but it's still even too early to tell. So because I wouldn't even be able to reschedule that surgery until June, that would push my halo surgery until September, which would then push my back surgery end of November, early December. We're getting into the winter months. Halo and spinal surgery is a big deal, and it's gonna be needing, like, constant check. I just don't want to push it off any longer than I have to. I'm going to be postponing the revision mastectomy surgery until next year. It was not ideal. I wanted to have it done before my back surgery, and I just don't understand why this is happening right now. I don't understand why there has to be a pandemic occurring right now, and I don't understand why people have to be going through this and experiencing these disappointments. I'll be honest, like, I'm just trying to be real with you guys as much as I can, and so it's just hard right now, but I know I'm not the only one experiencing disappointment. We're all experiencing disappointment, making sacrifices, and it is worth it. I know that I need to protect myself and the lives of others. It's very likely that I wouldn't survive the coronavirus, so we just can't take the risk if we don't have to. I mean, it's an annoyance. I really wanted to have this be done. My pain would go away, and the possibility of regaining my hearing was really exciting, and now that's not happening for a whole nother year. What's also tricky about this is, even though I've decided to postpone that surgery until next year, we don't know still if I can go into halo traction on time, depending on how long this pandemic lasts, or until we reach the peak and it drastically starts, the number of cases drastically start to decline instead of increase. That's when we'll know whether or not we're safe to do so. What's interesting about that is whether or not my team will consider this an elective surgery or an essential surgery, meaning like I have to have this. And this is something that I've been stressing a lot, in the importance of flattening the curve. And I know during this pandemic, that's something that we've heard so much about, flattening the curve. What exactly does that mean? It means staying home so you don't spread the virus, so more people don't flood the hospitals. The hospitals are packed right now because there's more that goes on in the world illness-wise than the coronavirus. We're at the peak season of flu season, other respiratory conditions besides COVID-19, and just daily accidents, broken bones, strokes, heart attacks, like just the daily freak health things that our bodies can experience. Hospitals are being bombarded with that. They're being bombarded with COVID-19. They're being bombarded with people coming in to ask for a test for COVID-19 even though they don't show symptoms because they're so freaked out about it. And that's why it's so important to flatten the curve, because if this pandemic does not slow down, healthcare workers don't want to be in the position of trying to decide who gets a ventilator or who gets a bed. We don't want to allow them to be in that position, and it's up to us to stay the heck home. Something that I advocate is, I'm at risk, so I need to self-quarantine. Why does everybody else? And it's because of flattening that curve. And if we all stay home and we're not intermingling within the community, the virus will have nowhere to go. The virus will have nobody to spread it to. And what's interesting about the coronavirus is you can be a carrier of the virus. You can have the virus and not show symptoms. So that's why the ignorant millennials, or even if you're not a millennial, the ignorant people that say, I'm fine, I'm young, I'm healthy, are the ones that are likely continuing this pandemic. Even though I am fine at the moment and I don't need this halo spinal surgery tomorrow, I do need it soon. At the appointment back in January, my team said, we can't wait a year, because every day that we wait, the worse I'm going to get, which makes it more difficult to operate. That is why we need to flatten the curve, because if this pandemic keeps going, there might not be a bed for me to be able to have the surgery. Now, as far as my revision mastectomy surgery goes, it's not so much the bed availability issue, because my surgery is scheduled to be outpatient. I've never stayed overnight for that kind of surgery. So that issue, wasn't really part of our decision on whether or not there'd be beds available, or whether or not we should save a bed for somebody, because I would be leaving. So I'm going to need to have an extended hospital stay for at least 5 days for halo, and then a week after spinal fusion surgery. And if we don't flatten this curve, there may not be a bed for me to be able to have the surgery. There might not be room. From what I know at this point, this surgery coming up in June is considered essential, meaning non-elective, because my organs are starting to be crushed by my spine. However, if the pandemic continues at a high rate, we may have no choice, because COVID-19 could cut my life short. So it's all about risk versus benefit. But if I don't have my back surgery till next year, my organs could continue to be crushed, and then I'll have more issues. We really just need to do our part to slow down the influx of people coming in to the healthcare system. This isn't fun for any of us. It's all a sacrifice, but human lives are worth sacrificing for. Just know that in this time you're not alone, and like I said, these are the measures that I wish the government would have taken during the 2009 pandemic, because I feel like the outcome would have been so different. I keep saying this, but it's just really beautiful to see the government take this seriously from a federal level. That's kind of how my life has shifted from a medical standpoint, so that revision surgery won't happen until next year now. Hopefully my halo and spinal surgery will be on schedule to be continued. I don't know, there's so much that's what's tricky about this, is there's so much, because it's brand new, there's so much we don't know about it, and we don't know how long it's gonna last. I just kind of wanted to update you guys and let you know, because I know I've been talking about these surgeries a lot. From what I know right now, my halo traction and spinal fusion surgery are still on the schedule for June 15th and August 10th. But of course that could change depending on the trajectory of this pandemic. So I'm urging you to stay the heck home. That is what I wanted to say about the surgeries. From a more interesting standpoint, some interesting things have come out of this coronavirus pandemic for me. I know something that I've been speaking out a lot is comparing this situation to what I went through with H1N1. Because even though the virus itself, the coronavirus itself is worse than H1N1 affected in a severity that people in the media are trying to warn against. So I'm not trying to play games with you because people like me do go on life support from this kind of stuff. And so one night there was a Twitter hashtag that started. It said, it was hashtag high risk COVID-19, and you would like share a picture of yourself and you would say like, I'm immunocompromised and my life matters too, and then you list the health conditions that you have that makes you immunocompromised. It would make something like the coronavirus difficult to survive to, honestly. I shared my story, which I'll insert here. And as you can see, that tweet went semi-viral. I've never had a tweet like that blow up in my life. I don't use Twitter all that much. I'm starting to use it now more because I'm realizing I'm getting more of a following on there. But I gained over 1,200 retweets in less than 24 hours. In 24 hours, and over 6,000 likes on that tweet. That hashtag just took off. I know there's an article of somebody that created that hashtag. I just happened to follow it and share my story within that hashtag trend or hashtag conversation surrounding that hashtag is what I want to say. So I'll see if I can find who it was. Mine just blew up, and BuzzFeed did a story on this trend of this hashtag of those with compromised immune systems sharing their stories with the hashtag high risk COVID-19. And because mine was one of the tweets that blew up, I was featured on BuzzFeed. That's so crazy to think that I would be featured on BuzzFeed, let alone for something like this. So that was really cool to see. On the other hand of that, some of my local news media outlets had seen me in the BuzzFeed article, and they reached out to me on Facebook and Instagram to do an interview. 2 different media outlets. I did the interview the day that I'm filming this. Actually, I did both interviews on the same day. They asked me on the same day via FaceTime because hashtag social distancing. Kind of like the face in the community of social distancing, because if I knew then about H1N1 what I know now of how it affected me, as I keep mentioning, these are the measures that I wish the government would have taken. And it's really cool to see my experience be able to go full circle. And unfortunately, I had to go through that horrifying experience to really express the importance of social distancing. It's not just a hashtag, but it's a real thing that we need to be practicing right now. And one of the media outlets that I shared my story with, they had covered, it's a different reporter, but they had covered my story when I had H1N1. Because at the time, Skype was just coming about, and we had been using Skype my parents had been using Skype to talk to each other while one of them would stay with me in the hospital. And it's really cool to kind of see that situation come full circle, because here I was in a hospital bed recovering from H1N1, and now 10 years later I'm speaking out advocating for social distancing based on that experience, because like the coronavirus is so similar and so detrimental to me, just like H1N1 was detrimental. And that's why I'm taking these extreme measures. I did not expect to be doing 2 interviews in one day. I didn't expect to be doing interviews about the coronavirus at all, even though I don't have the virus and haven't been exposed to anybody with the virus. I think that because H1N1 wasn't talked about the way coronavirus is, I think it's important for them to see somebody that has been in the situation that somebody with the coronavirus is right now, if that makes sense. So I will link all the links down below. I'll link the BuzzFeed article. I will link both media outlet links where I do the interviews. The quality of the interviews are not great. They're like really up close because they're via FaceTime. So the quality isn't great, but of course social distancing. They are practicing, the news media is practicing what they're preaching. I'm not letting visitors into my house. That is why I'm just letting you know, quality of the FaceTime interviews are not great. But what I have to say is important. So I hope that you will share those links, or at least one of those links, to those you're with. Well, you're not with very many, to just know that this is it for fun. I think I've kind of updated on everything. It's been kind of a whirlwind. Like I said, I didn't expect to be doing all these interviews and being on BuzzFeed, and just I gained over like 200, like 300 Twitter followers. So like it's all been a whirlwind, and it's been really a really humbling time to be able to know that if my horrifying experience can save one life, then it's all worth it. And just be a good human. through this, and I've seen the best in people, and I've also seen the worst in people. Just know that we're all dealing with it right now in some way, shape, or form, whether it be directly or indirectly. But I just wanted to update you guys on all of that. This will probably be my last coronavirus related updates and how it's affecting me as of right now. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the previous video, but I think what's difficult for me is knowing I have 8 weeks left of self-quarantine, and then if my halo surgery is on time, then I'll go into halo surgery, and then I won't be physically able to go out. A few of my videos in December, I was like, I just have this really good feeling that 2020 is going to be an amazing year, and it all just went to crap. But that's okay. We'll get through it, and I just pray that medical technology catches up and we can find an end to this horrible nightmare. I'm actually a very positive person, but it does feel like a horrible nightmare. It's a very trying time for me. So just do the best that you can to protect those around you, because everybody's lives matter, the young and the old and the in between. I just hope that this horrible nightmare ends soon. I hope that this is the last video that I'll be making on how the coronavirus has affected me. My life has kind of shifted as well. I know all of our lives are shifting, but since it had to do with surgeries that I've been talking about, I didn't want to leave you guys in a lurch. Regular makeup related videos will be resuming now. Tons of videos planned for you guys. I'm still in college right now, of course, because online college doesn't close. That's why I haven't been uploading as much as you would expect during this pandemic, because you would think, oh, I'm at home, I have nothing better to do. And you're right, I wish. College online is a lot more demanding than you would think, because classes are only 7 weeks compared to 14, so we're expected to do the same amount of work in less time. Anyways, just know that I'm doing the best I can with these crazy circumstances. I'm trying not to be sad about my surgery, because I know it could be much worse, and I just feel bad being sad because, as I mentioned, I've been in a pandemic fighting for my life, so I know I have nothing to complain about. Just keep me in your prayers, because the more I try not to be sad about it, the more I am sad about it. So pray for an end to this nightmare. Pray for me to have my surgeries, at least my halo surgery, on time. Just know we're all in it, you guys. We're all making sacrifices, and the whole world is going through trying times right now. But this too shall pass. We just all have to do our part. Not just some of us. Not just the healthy ones. Not just the high-risk ones. All of us. I'll have all the links to everything I've been featured in with this crazy pandemic linked in the description below. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was long. I feel like these words were important, and I felt like an update was important. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time in a makeup related video. Finally, I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.